Welcome to Grad Guidance, career tips and tools for graduate students. I'm your host, Allie Irk, Associate Director of Graduate Student Career Development at Lehigh University. In this episode, we will be discussing working full-time while in graduate school with our guest, Katharine Marianacci, Associate Director in the Center for Career and Professional Development. Welcome to Grad Guidance. I'm Allie Irk, the Associate Director of Graduate Student Career Development here at Lehigh. And we have a very special guest today, Katharine Marianacci. Welcome.
Hi, Allie. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us. So many of students and faculty and staff at Lehigh know you as a career coach from the Career Center, but what they might not know is that you are also a graduate student. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your background and your current role, as well as your graduate program of study.
Sure, Allie, I would love to. So I'm Katharine Marianacci again, and I am currently the Associate Director and Engineering Career Coach at the Career Center at Lehigh. So in my role, it's my job to support mainly our undergraduate engineering students on really all things related to their career development. So everything from choosing a major and a career path to resume and cover letter writing, learning how to network, preparing for interviews, internship and job searching, and so on. And so that's a key part of my role, as well as managing Lehigh's engineering co-op program and leading our international student career initiatives through a great collaboration with you, Allie. And so my full-time job is working at the Career Center. I've been here for almost 2 years at this point. But in addition to my work at the Career Center, like you said, Allie, I am also a graduate student here at Lehigh. I'm pursuing my master's in counseling psychology. And actually, as of this recording, as we're recording right now, I'm in my very last class in the program, and I'm one paper short of completing that course. So I may actually be a Lehigh alum by the time you watch this video, but as of now, I am a full-time staff member at the Career Center and a part-time grad student.
Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about your role and helping us to understand kind of the scope of your work as well as your program. And so I'm thinking about when you made that change, thinking back in your experience, when you changed from being a full-time graduate student into a part-time graduate student and full-time employee. What was that like?
Yeah, so I think the main thing that I loved once I transitioned to, full-time professional, part-time grad student was actually being able to apply the things I was learning in school to make a meaningful, a real-world impact. Like I loved the feeling of rather than spending hours and hours writing a paper, for example, to just have my professor read it and grade it and that's it. I loved being able to see my time and my effort make an actual difference to real students and real situations because I was able to immediately apply what I learned in my classes to a job that I love. And then I think another incredible benefit of working full-time was that as a Lehigh employee, my tuition was covered, which is pretty huge. And I know a lot of companies and organizations out there will provide partial or full tuition reimbursement for their employees. So definitely something that I always encourage my students thinking about grad school to consider. But then also on the flip side, there are definitely challenges. Just I think being able to balance everything and manage my schedule was difficult, especially at certain times when maybe things were really busy at work or I had a bunch of assignments due for school at once. And just, going from working all day, then to class at night and having papers to write and study on the weekends, it does require a lot of commitment and a lot of discipline. And you also need to be able to sustain that over an extended amount of time, which is tough for sure, but totally worth it if you have, I think, the motivation and, a professional purpose.
Thank you. So it sounds like there are certainly rewarding aspects of your role and also some challenges with managing time for sure. Speaking of time management, what tools or resources did you find most helpful to make sure that you were productive both at work and with your graduate study as well?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Allie. So I think, like I touched on a little bit before, having that drive and always keeping in mind the why of why am I doing this? What am I gaining from this? So that it never becomes this feeling of doing schoolwork just to get it done because I have to, but instead it's there because it has a greater meaning and because I actually care about understanding and applying the concepts. And so I think keeping that kind of attitude in mind and being very intentional about it was very helpful for me through the process. I also think having a supportive workplace helped me a lot. Having great coworkers like you, Allie, our directors at the Career Center, you all, I think, understood what I was balancing and gave me the flexibility when I needed it. And then I think also more tangibly, to answer your question, time management and planning are definitely key. Sometimes when you're a full-time student only, it's easy to maybe procrastinate until the last minute or just like pull an all-nighter the night before, for example. But when you're a full-time professional, it's not really practical or sometimes even possible to do that because you also need to go into work the next day and perform and have many other job related responsibilities that you need to get done at the same time as school assignments. So I found that it would reduce so much stress for me and really greatly improve the quality of my schoolwork and my work too when I would start things in advance and really maximize when I did have, say, a free Saturday or Sunday or maybe a slower weekday with like leftover energy to get an hour or two done in the evenings. And using tools like a Google Calendar, for example, can really help with planning ahead and making sure that you're using your time efficiently. I know I constantly rely on my Google Calendar to figure out like when am I going to complete certain tasks, remind me when certain things are happening, to coordinate schedules with other people. And I feel that using a tool like a Google Calendar and just generally practicing good time management has really increased my productivity and made my time as a part-time grad student more enjoyable too.
I think you gave so many great tips in that response. I loved how you focused on the why and really coming in, focusing on why are you taking the time to do this? Why is it important? Why does it matter? I think that's a great motivation when you're waking up in the morning, when you're going through all your tasks, to keep that in mind. And I also appreciate you highlighting some of the tools that you use, such as Google Calendar and some of the other resources. Especially liked how you pointed out using your coworkers as a resource. Both learning from them and also those relationships are so important in managing time and in collaboration, all the different elements. Absolutely. So when we think about time, I'm wondering anything that you would recommend of how to balance time. So thinking about, any other advice you'd give to students that are balancing demands of work and also demands of school at the same time.
Just one final takeaway, I think, is to remember that life is not one-dimensional. So yes, your work is important. Yes, your grades and your classes are important, but there are also other elements to who you are. And I think it's so critical that if you're pursuing a grad degree part-time while working, or even if you're not and you're just listening to this for some other reason, I think it's so important that you take time to rest and to find meaning in other elements of your life beyond school, beyond work, whether it's hobbies or spending time with friends or family, because we need that to be fulfilled. And I think kind of paradoxically, I have personally found that taking time to relax and to discover myself in other ways, it has ultimately made me more productive at work and at school because I'm a happier person.
Yeah, well said. I think that it is important that you invest in yourself, invest in your relationships. You mentioned so many great things. Surround yourself with individuals who are going to be supportive, encouraging, take time to do things you enjoy. And I think in addition to making your work productive, I think then you bring those experiences that you have elsewhere, and it enriches all that you do and your perspective as well. So this has been wonderful to hear your perspective, Katharine, and to share so many tips and tools. And certainly there's so many things to take advantage of here at Lehigh with regards to professional development and building your skills, whether it's things like getting better at using Google Calendar, managing your time, or also just lots of great and wonderful things to do both on campus and off campus to continue to find that balance that you're talking about.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me, Allie.
Thank you so much, Katharine, for being here, and congratulations on almost completing your graduate degree. That is wonderful. So join us the next time on Grad Guidance for more career tips and tools for graduate students. Thanks for viewing.
Google Calendar is a power tool for time management. You can utilize this to maximize your productivity at work and at school. Check out LTS for help on Google Calendar, and look out for LTS seminars on Google Calendar and other tools throughout the year. Taking time to relax and participating in activities you enjoy can aid in your productivity. In addition to campus activities, check out all there is to do in the Lehigh Valley and surrounding area by checking out the link below.